Today's incident will wake up your soul. Please watch the incident till the end. Today we will tell you the story of a king who got his daughter married to a monkey. Why was the princess married to a monkey? There was a noble king in the olden times. Once the king went for a walk with his minister. They camped near the forest. When it was time for dinner, the azan was laid out. The king saw that a monkey was sitting on a very big tree and was watching everything silently. There was no monkey-like behavior in this. The king said, put some food in front of this monkey as well. The servants put some food in front of the monkey. The monkey came down from the tree, took a degree and started writing something on it. Then the monkey gave that degree to the king. It was written on the degree that I will not eat such food. Rather, the azan that has been laid out for the king should be laid out for me as well. The king was very surprised to see this and ordered him to a similar azan for him as well. The king's order was obeyed and a table like the king's was laid for the monkey. Seeing this, the monkey came down from the tree and sat down to eat. After eating, he climbed back up the tree. Suddenly dark clouds covered the sky. The servants quickly gathered all the things. The king told the servants to keep a piece of sackcloth in front of the monkey so that he would not get wet. The servants brought the piece of sackcloth and kept it near the monkey. The monkey then wrote something on paper and gave it to the king. It was written on it that the same kind of tent that has been laid for the king will come on the king's order. The same kind of tent was laid for the monkey as well. Meanwhile, it started raining and the monkey came down from the tree and went inside his tent. After a few days, when the king started going back, then the king told the servants to go and ask the monkey if he was coming with us. He's ready to go. So the monkey again wrote something on the degree that, just like the elephant prepared for the king, a similar elephant should be prepared for me as well. Then only I will go. The king was now taking interest in the monkey, which is why the king got a ride prepared for the monkey just like himself. When they reached the palace, the king ordered that one of the tents meant for the king should be given to the monkey as well. But the monkey again wrote something that, just like the palace meant for the king, a similar palace should be made for me as well. Then I will stay there, or else I will go back to the jungle. The king also had another palace where he used to come very rarely. The king gave that palace to the monkey. The king's wife and servants were getting very jealous of the monkey. Meanwhile, the monkey also started coming to the king's palace. The monkey would listen to the cases very carefully. When the king was about to make a wrong decision, the monkey would immediately take the paper from the king's hand, tear it, write the correct decision with the pen and hand it over to the king. In the beginning, the king got very angry at this act of his, but then the king understood that the monkey's actions had saved him from many mistakes and wrong irons. This king also had a beautiful daughter. The king loved his daughter with all his heart and soul. The king's daughter also developed a liking for the monkey. One day, the princess came to see the monkey with her friends. When the monkey saw the princess, he started staring at her. The princess got scared of the monkey and ran back inside the palace. After this, it started happening that whenever the princess would look at her face in the mirror after dressing up, the monkey's face would be visible from behind. I don't know how, but the monkey would enter the princess's room. The monkey wrote something on a slip of paper and handed it over to the princess. It was written on this slip, will you marry me? Believe me, I'm very beautiful. The princess knew that this was a well-mannered monkey. He will not harm me. Gradually, the princess developed sympathy for the monkey in her heart. When this news reached the king, he did not like the fact that the monkey used to come and go to his daughter's room. The king came to his palace the next day to meet the monkey. The monkey was present in the palace. The king said, look, I do not know who you are. I accepted your every word and treated you as my equal. Perhaps no other king would have done this to you, and now you have started harassing my daughter. I did not like this at all. Before I take any strict action, you should stop. The monkey quickly brought a pen and paper from the palace, wrote something and gave it to the king. It was written in it that I want to marry your daughter, and I assure you that I will always keep your daughter happy. The king was stunned. After reading this, I want to marry my flower-like princess to this monkey. This can never happen. The king said that this can never happen in my life. The monkey quickly took out the sword from the king's waist and wrote with the other hand, if this cannot happen in your life, then I'm ready to die. Get ready for this. I will kill you and marry your daughter. You are my benefactor. You kept me in this palace, arranged for my food and drink. I don't want to kill you and stain my hands with your blood. The king saw his death in front of him and said, okay, give me some time to think. The king returned to his palace. He was very upset. On one side there was his daughter, and on the other side his own life. He spent the night in trouble while walking, but he did not tell anything to his wife. He knew that as soon as his wife comes to know, she will take the whole palace to task. By morning the king had decided that he would give up his life but would never marry his daughter to a monkey. He went to his daughter's room to give her some advice. The king started telling the princess that, daughter, if something happens to me tomorrow, then how will you look after your mother, and how will you handle this kingdom? The princess said with tears in her eyes, Aben, what are you saying? May Allah bless your life. Attack Karim Bash said, my daughter, that monkey is after me and asks me to get him married to you, or else he will kill me. But this is impossible. How can I get you married to this monkey? He's just an animal. Your mother made plans to kill him many times, but always failed. That monkey is still alive today. The king started saying that I'll go and tell the monkey clearly that I can never get you married to my daughter. After this, maybe he will kill me. You go and hide in the basement with your mother and do not come out till that time, till that monkey leaves here. The princess said, Abba, your life is not so worthless. You are not only my father, but also the king of this kingdom, and say yes to my relationship with the monkey. The king tried to convince her a lot, but the princess remained adamant. And then finally the princess somehow convinced her father. The king told his consent to the monkey and said to the monkey that I am ready for your and the princess's marriage. You should also start preparations for the marriage. When the queen came to know about this, she took the whole palace to task. On the day of marriage, the king locked the queen in a room and got the princess married to the monkey. The princess left and went to the monkey's palace. The next day, when the princess returned to her father's palace, she was very happy. The queen was surprised when she saw this. The queen said, daughter, you are so happy with this monkey? The princess said, yes, I am very happy. The princess used to stay in her father's palace during the day, and at night she used to go to the monkey's palace. The queen found this matter a bit strange. The queen got suspicious about the monkey. That's why one night the queen dressed up as a maid and went to the monkey's palace. The door of the princess's room was closed. The queen tried to listen to their conversation. Sounds of a man were coming from inside. The queen peeped inside through the lock and saw that the princess was sitting with a very handsome young man. He was laughing and talking with the princess. The queen was surprised to see this and started thinking, so this was the matter. That is why I should say that how can my daughter be so happy with this monkey? He is not a monkey but a handsome young man. Now the queen turned from there and started going. Then she saw a monkey skin lying on one side. The queen started thinking, why does he wear such a thick skin of monkeys on himself? And why does he roam around like a monkey? If I burn him, then he will never be able to become a monkey. Thinking this, the queen picked up the monkey's skin, brought it to her palace and set this skin on fire. Here the queen set the monkey's skin on fire, and on the other side the young man started feeling a burn sensation on his body. The young man, who was a monkey, was not a monkey. When the princess returned to her father's palace, she saw that her mother had set the monkey's skin on fire. The princess quickly put out the fire. The princess came to know that this was her mother's deed. She started crying and said, oh mother, you have ruined my married life. What enmity did you have? Her mother said, oh daughter, how would I know? I had thought that if I burnt the monkey skin, he would come in front of me as a young man, my son-in-law. King, the princess said, Amar, I had told you to leave me on my terms. Now you have calmed down, haven't you? The mother was upset after listening to all the things the princess said. When the king came to know, he sent servants, but there was no news of the monkey from anywhere. Now the princess wore the clothes of a jogan and went in search of the prince. She kept wandering in the jungles and deserts. Her feet got blisters. The princess's complexion changed. One night the princess was sitting under a tree in the same jungle. On top of this tree a chokka and a chakori were sitting and talking. The princess was listening to their conversation. Chokka is a bird. Chakori said to Chokka, "What is the matter, Chokka? Why are you so worried?" Chakori said, "What should I tell you? There is a prince from here towards Europe. I'm very worried about him. He has got big boils all over his body. He cannot even sleep. All the doctors and Hokkaido have given up treating him. No one can cure him." Chakori asked, "How did the prince's condition become like this?" Chokka said that some cruel person had attacked the prince's life and tried to burn him. That is why his whole body got burnt, and now he has got big boils. Chakori asked, "Is there no cure for our prince's pain?" Chokka said that if someone collects our beets and rubs them with sandalwood and applies them on the prince's body for 40 days in the morning and evening, then all the wounds on the prince's body will heal. The princess understood that this was about her Prince. Chakori and Chokka flew away. In the morning the princess collected all their beets, disguised herself as a doctor, and headed towards Europe. At a short distance from there the princess saw a city. The city was very beautiful, but sadness was spread over everything there. The people there were very worried and were carrying out their work. However, the princess asked the reason for their worrying. Everyone said that the condition of their prince was very bad. The princess bought sandalwood from the market and other medicines, and after buying the necessary things the princess went to the royal palace. She reached there and asked the guard to tell the king that a doctor had come from the Himalayan mountains who wanted to treat the king. The guard ran to the king and said, "Call him inside immediately." The king saw that he was still young. How would he treat the prince? So many great doctors and age could not treat him. Still the king said, "What can you do? Great doctors and Hokkaido have lost." The princess said, "If the prince does not get well in 40 days, then the punishment for a thief will be the same for me." Hearing this the king was happy and agreed to get him treated. The princess said, "I want the room next to the prince so that I can take care of the prince day and night." On the king's order the princess was given the room next to the prince. The princess started the treatment, and within a month the prince was completely cured, but the wound was still there. He was also a little naive, just as Chakori and Chakori had talked about. 40 days the princess kept serving the prince for 40 days, and the king had also prepared to give her a huge reward. The prince was grateful to this doctor from the bottom of his heart. But what happened on the 40th day? The princess applied the ointment to the prince's body and left. He returned to his palace. Before leaving the prince had asked for one of the prince's rings, and the prince happily gave that ring to her. The princess took the ring with her and returned to her father's palace. The prince did not know that the doctor had left. Preparations for the prince's health were going on in full swing in the palace, but no one knew about the doctor. The prince was very worried, and the king was also surprised at what kind of doctor was this who left the place silently without asking for a single penny. When the prince was completely cured, he remembered his new bride, One. Taking permission from his father, he left on the pretext of hunting and went straight to his in-laws' house. He was wearing royal attire and had a soldier with him. There was also a royal entourage. The servants made him sit in the palace with great respect and informed the king. The king had grown old before time in the grief of his daughter. The prince greeted the king with great respect. The king said, "Son, who are you? Where have you come from? You seem to be a prince, but I do not know you, and I have never seen you before this." The prince said, "Oh my Mohsin, you did not know me before, but I can never forget you. I know you very well. I am the same monkey whom you gave equal status to, kept in your palace, fed and watered, and also married to your daughter." The king was very happy and surprised and asked, "Son, how is this possible?" The prince said, "I will tell you my story later. First tell me, where is my bride?" The king said, "Son, after you left she lives alone in this palace where you took her after marrying her." The prince ran there happily and went inside the palace. The princess was sitting like a picture of sorrow. Her face was wilted like a flower, and the princess could not believe it when she saw the prince in front of her. The princess said, "Yes, princess, your love has brought me here. Your mother left no stone unturned to kill me. My whole body was filled with big wounds, and there was no hope of my survival," the princess said. "Then how did you get well?" The prince told her the whole incident. The princess said that, well, then you must have made this doctor very rich." The prince said that, "No, it is surprising that he did not take anything from us except one of my rings," and he quietly went from there. The princess shows that ring to the prince and asks, "Is this your ring?" The prince said that yes, but how did it come to you? The princess says, "Because that doctor was none other than me." The princess tells him the whole story, and the prince was very happy to hear this, and he had more love for the princess in his heart. The love for you increased even more. The princess said that, "Even my mother was not your enemy. When my mother saw you as a human, she burnt the monkey skin, thinking that neither this skin would remain nor you will have to become a monkey again." The princess said that it was your fault too. You never told me the reason for becoming a monkey, otherwise I would have protected this skin more than my life. The prince said, "I never got a chance to tell you all this. It was about a year ago that I went out hunting, and my servants were also with me. I saw a deer in the forest. I shot an arrow at it, and the deer disappeared from my sight. I went in search of this deer. I went so far ahead that all the people who were with me were left behind. I had been separated from my companions. I saw that an old man was sitting near the desert. A 10-12-year-old child was also sitting near him. That old man was crying. Blood was flowing from the leg of this child. That old man crying and cursing the man who had shot an arrow at the child's leg. Unknowingly I had the arrow hit the child's leg. Seeing me, the old man said angrily, "Are you a human or a monkey? You do not even have any manners." As soon as he said this, I instantly transformed from a human to a monkey, because he was a good old man who believed in Allah. He started saying that, "Now you are wandering from jungle to jungle. You will not be able to find anyone. I will not even find a place to stay because of their curse." I was so troubled with my condition that I caught their feet and started crying and asking for forgiveness. Seeing my condition, the child felt pity for me. He told his grandfather that when a person accepts his mistake, he should be forgiven. We should forgive this person. When the boy insisted a lot, the old man said, "Learn something from this. What did you do to him? He is asking for your well-being. Well, I cannot take back the curse, but I can reduce it. You will remain a monkey for a year." 1951. When some girl sympathizes with you and agrees to marry you, then you will return to your original state. If you get married before a year, then only in front of your wife will you be able to take the form of a human. I was helpless and came back from there. I could not go back to my palace, and I had no other place to stay. I kept wandering in the jungle like this for 6 months. After this I met you. I met my father in the jungle, who brought me from there to his palace. Then the king got you married to me, and everything that happened after that you know very well." That the princess had not finished talking when the queen and the king heard the whole conversation. Then the queen started apologizing to the prince, and the prince forgave the queen. The king said that, "We do not have any son. If you stay with us from now on, I will be very happy." The prince said that, "Right now I have to take my bride to my palace and introduce her to my father, but I promise you that I will come to ask for your hand after this." The prince came to his country with his bride and went to his father. Then both of them started living their life happily. A story of the marriage of princess and monkey.